it reached the point that when the business was already set up and the business unit or the structure was already, the framework was already set up in Microsoft, it reached a point that personally for me, I felt it was all about pushing the business, getting the software out there, rather than educating the market. And I felt at that time, with these two conditions, wherein people are moving away from the PC and moving towards the mobile, and when Microsoft has really, there's a lot of pressure on it to really prove that the desktop or its business model is still viable as a software company. So they kept on pushing for revenue and volume rather than really this kind of advocacy. I felt it was time to move. Now, I got into food because ever since before, I've been a very, how do you say this? I've been very particular about how the Philippines is as a country developing. I'm not somebody who's going to run for politics, but as someone who's stayed abroad, moved around, lived in various countries across Asia and the States, you get to see that there's a very, very big difference between other countries and the Philippines. Not only in terms of the state of the country, but also the state of, the attitude of people. In the whole world, right now the Philippines is, I think, number 4 or number 5 in terms of instant noodle consumption. Big countries like the United States or I don't know who else are not even part of the top 5. If you consider our population versus their population, they're around almost 400 million people or 90 million people. So how can we eat more noodles compared to the States? But it's primarily because of the mentality that people have, and of course the state of our economy. A lot of people don't have work. A lot of people will tend to believe commercials, advertisements in commercials, whether or not they're true or not. Then you get to see that there's a lot of people really that are really suffering from poor nutrition, poor choices, poor education, poor awareness also of what's good for their bodies or what's not. And it was through this that I decided to pursue a field in food. My family is from a packaging background, so it's totally different. So it's really something I wanted to do. It's also something that I wanted to. It's also my passion to really be able to go out and do marketing, to introduce a brand. It's something that it's really something that it's something that I want to do for a long period of time. So that's how I got into food.
So how did the people react to the product when it first came up, your product?
Well, there were two basic reactions. Number one, people say it's expensive. Oh, it's so expensive, I don't want to drink, I don't want to buy. That's the first reaction, first and foremost. Well, because why? This is what I was saying before. People have gotten so used to the idea that I'm going to buy this because it's cheap, I'm going to buy this because it's affordable, or well, actually not affordable, but cheap, regardless of what's inside. And when we first introduced it and we talked about pure juice, 100% juice, everything is natural, of course, these are all concepts that are not alien. People know about this. But whether or not they embrace this idea when they make their decisions, when they buy food, it's not really something that is their first priority. So when we introduce our product, the first reaction is, it's so expensive. There are even people inside the industry, supermarkets or other manufacturers also, that have personally told me that your product is too expensive. You cannot sell that. It's impossible to sell. So this kind of feedback only, I'm the kind of person who loves challenges. So when they told me that, when I heard that, I felt, okay, I now have an opportunity to prove everybody wrong. And that was the first reaction. Number two is that we introduced some of the most radically different flavors in the market. Like I told you before, we have broccoli, we have purple carrot, spinach juice, and all. And of course, the initial reaction was, oh, I don't want to drink that. It's too different, it's too alien, it doesn't taste good. Maybe it doesn't taste good. So again, we have to re-educate the market. We have to educate our consumers that, okay, contrary to what you previously know or previously have been, used to, our products, whether or not it's broccoli or spinach, they're formulated or they're mixed with fruit juice as well. So they actually taste good. And of course, the biggest hurdle is how to make them actually try and taste it. But actually, once we've done that, the success rate is very high. Once people have tried it, I guarantee almost 9 out of 10 or probably 9.5 out of 10 or 95 people out of 100 will say, something I like to buy again. So, it's really, those are the two initial reactions. And of course, it's difficult. We're like, in the whole scheme of consumer products in the market, we're like an ant trying to climb a mountain. So, it's really difficult. But I think we really believe in what we have. As a product, we believe that, there's still a segment in the market. It's not that big, but it's growing. I believe it's growing as we speak. That appreciates and understands this kind of product. And you can see it. You can see it in a lot of other products as well. Suddenly you have restaurants, fast food restaurants talking about zero trans fat. Suddenly you have even ordinary bakeries talking about, no preservatives, and everything. I mean, it's a trend. It's growing. I'm not going to tell you that we started the trend, but I'm also not going to tell you that we rode on the trend. When the time we started the business, there was no trend at all, and we just happened to be at the right, time when we introduced it. But we definitely, I believe, up to this day, we definitely made an impact in that market.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.